Okay, we're back, and I want to welcome our first guest, Raffy Dorian from Market Street Veterinary Clinic.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So tell us a little bit about Market Street. Why did you're a longtime veterinarian, why did you choose downtown?
Well, downtown was a source of clients for us. There are so many animals in the downtown area. I felt it was a perfect place to start a business.
Great. Well, it's the growth area in San Diego. So what type of animals do you work with?
So at the clinic, we work with a variety of animals. We have dogs, cats, reptiles, what they call pocket pets. And on the side, I actually have a separate business where I work on horses as well. So
Wow.
we see all sorts of...
What's a pocket pet? I know what a pocket pal is. I used to buy those for my niece when she was 3 at the toy store. But what's a pocket pet?
Pocket pets are basically like hamsters, mice, rats, those kind of guys that can fit in your pocket.
Well,
Okay.
You may not want them in your pocket.
No, I'm not.
that's true.
You're not going
That's
to
true.
see me walking downtown with a rat in my pocket, Dr.
That's
Raffy.
okay. That's all right.
Hedgehogs have become like so popular on Facebook. Do people actually own hedgehogs, or is that just like a thing going around?
It's probably a thing going around. They're out there. We've seen a little more of chinchillas. Those have come around a little bit. So, I think it goes in phases, what you're going to get. But, it's always interesting. You never know what's going to come in the door.
Right. Well, I'm curious about the exotic pet thing because, I've got nieces and nephews that own like all different types of like lizards and snakes and stuff. But what kind of care would they need? It's like you feed them the crickets or whatever and you go on, right?
Right. The big thing with the exotics is really their housing. So a lot of people make mistakes with how the animals are housed, and over time they can get very sick from that. And the problem with those is that they don't show any illness till it's almost too late, because their metabolism is much slower than a dog or a cat.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell. I mean, I guess they kind of have a little delay before they really show that they're not doing what they normally do.
Right, they're moving really slow, so it's tough to say are they sick or what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say the exotics are really where my heart is. I'm a dog lover.
Yeah, I like dogs and cats too. That's sort of my highlight, and obviously the horses as well. One of our other vets is the one who's specializing in exotics at the clinic.
So what I get out of Market Street is you're trying to bring a small town atmosphere to a big town in veterinary. Is that correct?
That's totally correct, and we really strive to do that. We know it's a stressful situation when you're bringing your pets into the clinic, and many times they're ill, and you're worried about them, and we really want to make sure that that's a good experience, and we give you all the communication that we can.
Well,
Yeah, fur babies are really family members to most people. I know, my dogs have been to me, and when you've got a sick pet, you've got to take it in to see the vet. It's a whole different thing when you're taking them in because they need to get their shots, and then it's a whole different thing when they're sick and you're scared and you don't really know what you're faced with choices and options. You really got to feel like you're with somebody you can trust.
100%. That's really our goal, and we're all pet owners. We all have pets at the clinic, and so we know what it's like to be on the other side of that table, and we respect that and really try to give the needs to the client.
Yeah. I know your approach, as we were talking earlier, is also about prevention as opposed to just dealing with issues as they come up. How do you do that? What's your approach in that sense?
It's really individualized, but in a general sense, you want to make sure you're doing all the preventative things that you can. So certain vaccines, and there's been a lot of controversy over the years about vaccines, whether they're good or bad, and I think there's a healthy medium to that. There are preventative medications. I'm sure most pet owners, dog owners have heard about heartworm disease. There's preventative medicines for that. And being in the downtown area, we have a lot of dogs in a small area, and parasites are a big problem. So being on those kind of medications is really important.
Yeah.
I have 3 Chihuahuas, and my oldest Chihuahua is 12 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And she's a really teeny Chihuahua, and we took her into the vet, and she has infections on her teeth, in her gums, I guess, or whatever. So they pulled 17 teeth on this tiny Chihuahua.
What does she have left? One?
She can eat and everything. I mean, because the point that I was going to make, first of all, what do we do wrong? Because they go to the vet like regularly, right? And then all of a sudden we have this infection that develops, and then she almost died from the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so they recover pretty fast. I mean, it's amazing. I think the recovery was maybe 2 weeks, maybe less. But it was like the dog's going to die, and then 2 weeks later, the dog's fine.
Right. Well, I think in that situation, that's obviously an extreme situation with 17 teeth. You try to get there before it gets to that point. I don't think you did anything wrong. A lot of small dogs will get a lot of dental disease. And if you're doing...
Do they get it all of a sudden? I mean, how come we didn't have a warning?
It's usually, it builds up over time. I think a year period of time, if you're going every year for an exam, it is feasible. Their bodies change as they get older and your metabolism changes. So it's feasible that they can start producing more tartar and buildup, and that gets under the gum line, and then you'll get these infections and loosens the teeth up. You mentioned that maybe it was a stressful time, to do the dental and that she almost died during it. Yeah. So a lot of things I think people need to know about is there are a lot of good anesthetics available to us that make things much safer for pets. 10 years ago, it wasn't that. And 15 years ago, if you had to knock your animal out, there was a chance they couldn't wake up. So it's really important to know what's available. And at our clinic, we have all of the best anesthetics and medications that we can have. Great. And I look at it as like treating my own pet. What am I going to use?
Yeah. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-hosts Andrea Kay and Al Arias, and our guest, Raffy Dorian from Market Street Veterinary Clinic. So now, is preventive care for animals, is that something new? Or, I see you've got a degree in preventive care.
Right. I have a master's in veterinary preventive medicine, and it's a study of disease and how it's transmitted and sort of like disease outbreaks, that kind of thing. And it comes in handy in general practice when you do have outbreaks and how to prevent disease.
It doesn't sound like that's something that's common to most veterinary clinics, though, or am I wrong?
No, you're actually right. There's not many veterinarians that have that degree. It's a dual degree, and when I was in veterinary school, I was doing the standard studies and also doing that. So it was, I think I had like 35 units a quarter or something, so which is almost like 22 or something. So.
It's tough enough to go to vet school than to add on a degree on top of it. There's so many different philosophies out there among veterinarians, particularly when it comes to technology, because there is so much technology today. And, then it becomes a question of just because you can doesn't mean you should. What are your thoughts about all this great technology today?
Right. I think it's a great question. At our clinic, we do have all the bells and whistles that we need, but I do feel that you should only do those tests if there's a reason for it and you have an outcome to it. So if you do this test, it's going to make you do this on the back side of it, and it's reasonable to do. You shouldn't just do a test just to do it and check it off the list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I see something I think is really unique for a veterinary clinic. Tell us, you do house calls?
Right, yeah, that's one of the unique things. Yeah, that's right. So I've been doing that a long time. That's what got us started downtown, and so I'm still able to give that service to our clients. And it's a little more limited. I tried before, I was doing all over San Diego, so now it's more localized. But it's definitely something that comes in handy. People that have more than one cat or a couple dogs and a cat, it works out really well.
Are there specific, if you responded every time somebody wanted you to come to their house, you'd probably never be able to be at your clinics. Are there specific circumstances that are behind the house call in terms of a dire situation or situations?
I think, a lot of times, one of the sadder things is euthanasias, and so we will do those as well, and that can be a really comforting thing to do at home versus being in a clinic situation. But we also do, regular routine visits as well. It's a scheduling thing. It depends how quick you want it done, but we try to accommodate everybody.
Well, so now I see, we had to put our puppy down a few years ago, and I always remember going into some of the clinics, and it always felt like they were selling something else. Okay, that's one of your focuses to avoid. Am I correct?
100%. So there's been a lot of talk in the media about, I think, upselling and trying to make people do things, sort of dental cleanings, things like that. And we really strive not to do that. And we want our clients to trust us, and we try to put our best foot forward.
Yeah, the last thing you want to feel when you go to take your dog, whether it's for a preventative visit or whether it's when they're sick, is the last thing you want to feel is that, you've got a predatory doctor, trying to exploit the situation,
Right.
to make money off of it.
Right.
And to know that there's a clinic where somebody can go and feel safe that that's not going to happen gives such a peace of mind.
I always tell the staff and the other doctors too that if it's all about money, that's not going to get you anywhere. If you do the right medicine, the money will be there. The business will be very lucrative, and everyone will do well. You don't have to be upselling and doing all these other things. So.
Yeah, I
that's
think that
wonderful.
applies to almost every business, though. If you do
Right.
right
So-
by people and you provide a
Yeah.
good service, you're going to have repeat business, and everybody's going to be successful.
Yeah.
Lecture over.
Yeah.
Where do I go with that one?
I don't know.
Okay. So, any favorite stories about animals? Anything that you want to tell us?
Yeah, let me think about it. I think that when people ask me that question, I get that question all the time. The first thing I think of is all of the things that I've actually removed from animals' stomachs and
Wow.
intestines, and dogs in particular, but cats too. But you name it, I've taken them out. Tennis balls, underwear, all sorts of things. Yeah.
Okay, this is a rated G show,
Okay,
Dr.
sorry.
Raffy.
There was one though. I'll say this one. I don't know if I can say it, but so we did surgery. It ended up being this dog ate some underwear, and the dog did fine. Everything went great, and so I went to the client, and we have a little Ziploc bag. I said, "Here you go," and then the lady goes, "That's not my underwear."
Oh, sooky
Into
now.
a big deal, yeah. So dog was fine.
Okay.
But, so anyway, there you go.
Oh, nothing worse than having to get in the middle of a husband and wife,
boy,
huh,
I'll
Dr.
tell you
Raffy?
about it.
I'm going to take this clip and mark it down in the annals of close-up history here.
Sounds like maybe a reality show ought to be
Right.
happening
Yeah.
in your
It could be,
clinic.
It could be. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Crazy.
That's funny. So before we run out of time with you today, tell our listeners how they find you. Where are you located, and how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so we're located in downtown San Diego, 633 7th Avenue. They can visit our website. We have all our information there, and that's marketstreetvet.com.
Great. Any phone number to get in touch?
Phone number 619-230-1220.
Okay, great. Well, I will make sure that if I ever have any animals, I won't ask for the samples returned.
There
Okay.
you go, yeah.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I'm going to
Boys.
get I get
You
myself in
boys.
so much trouble. So anyway, well, Raffy, I appreciate you being with us today, and I highly encourage our listeners to contact Market Street Veterinary Clinic. What a change of pace for the animal care. So it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego businesses and the people that are working to make a difference in our community. This is financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after the break with more homegrown business Close Up. And we will have Doug Austin from AVRP Studios.